Good morning, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am Emiliano Genorini, the account manager for Microneer in EMEA and LATAM. I'm very happy to be here with Florentin Copei from NIRLAB. That is the founder, and I think that you can be defined the CTO at this point of the company. The task for today is to show the possibility of using the Microneer in conjunction with the NIRLAB mobile phone app, or better, cloud infrastructure for narcotics and cannabis application. Just really, I would say 2 words, maybe less, regarding the company, because the star is Florentin and NIRLAB today. Just a couple of words regarding the company. VIAVI is a US-based company that has quite a lot experience in the, let's say, optical coating. We are 2 business units. One is working on the optical coating. The other one is working on telecommunication system to measure the speed in the telecommunication network. The core technology that VIAVI has for NIR is called linear variable filter. A linear variable filter is basically a glass with a multi-layers on it, and thanks to the property of the linear variable filter, when the polychromatic light goes through the filter, is split in different positions based on the specific characteristic of the linear variable filter. The very important thing that we have to consider for the Microneer is that it doesn't have any moving parts. Therefore, we can create a super small device like this one, that is the so-called 1700 ES, that is the first Microneer that has been introduced in the market, as well as the on-site W that you can see here in my hands. That is, let's say, the device that is going to be, together with Florentin, the special guest for today. This device is a device that it has a battery that can work up to 10 hours of continuous working, can also be recharged with the battery pack, and is IP65 and 67. But as I said, the on-site and Florentin are the star. I leave immediately the stage to Florentin.
Thank you very much, Emiliano. It's a pleasure to be here today to present you all the work we've been putting in the last 7 years now for developing the product called NIRLAB. That is a combination of usage of the Microneer and the NIRLAB software that I will present you today. So here is a little bit of the content that we will talk about today. There will be some theoretical aspects about the origin of the company and the team and our product solutions. And then I will show you a little bit the application areas that we can cover and the services that we offer. So originally, I started my PhD program in the University of Lausanne in Switzerland on a research project on rapid analysis of illicit drugs. I was testing all kinds of devices, portable or less portable, until 2017, when we had a very recurring question from the police departments due to the emergence of the CBD cannabis products, so high CBD content. And there was really a need for rapid distinction of legal versus illegal products of cannabis. And during this phase, we started developing the first transportable prototype of NIRLAB software for prediction of narcotics, especially cannabis, with the usage of the old version of the Microneer, the wireless one. And then After the success of this first prototype during 2018, from 2018 to 2021, we developed the NIRLAB solution as it is known today, with the goal of developing an instant portable analysis software or device for all major illicit drugs. In 2021, we incorporated the company NIRLAB AG as a spin-off from the University of Lausanne with the support of the FIT Foundation for the Technological Innovation in Switzerland. Afterwards, in 2022, we started integrating new services that we developed around our main product, which is the NIRLAB Narcotics solution. So we started developing a NIRLAB Pro software. Then we worked our way into the accreditation of ISO 17025 for a forensic lab here in Lausanne. Then we did white label applications. And then in 2023, we started the internationalization and the growth of the company with, we're going to end the year with 10 employees in 3 different countries, Switzerland, Italy, and Germany, and with our solution being used now in more than 30 countries. So behind NIRLAB, I am not the only one, even though I am the founder. I am today the co-CEO, along with Mr. Matteo Delbruck from Zurich, who has joined us recently in order to help us expand internationally. David Schmidt is one of the original founder, along with me, and he is responsible for the business development and product development. And Pierre Seva, who is my professor of the PhD program in the University of Lausanne, and it was a very strong support from the very beginning of the development of the solution. On top of that, we have our whole team of business developers, IT specialists, chemometricians, designer, lab technicians, everything needed to make the NIRLAB chemometric suite as I will present it to you today. So the NIRLAB chemometric suite is composed of different parts. So it's a software that is working with portable NIR devices like the micro NIR to acquire data. So today we're talking about our applications with the micro NIR from VIAVI. So rapidly a few words about the device here. It has a very strong signal to noise. So it's a portable handheld NIR spectrometer with wireless, compact, and ergonomic. It's IP65 and IP67. It allows to make analysis without destructing the samples and without requiring any sample preparation. There is no maintenance required or very little, and the parts are easily replaceable. And it has a very long battery life, up to 10 hours of continuous use. And of course, it has Bluetooth and USB connectivity to plug to any kind of applications, such as the NIRLAB mobile application, which is a multi-platform application. So it can be used on iPhone, iPad, and even on the new MacBook generations computer with the M1 or M2 chips. It can be used as well on Android and Samsung tablets, and you can download it on the Google Play or App Store. It is communicating with a secure cloud storage environment with encrypted communication. So it requires an internet connectivity through either 4G, Wi-Fi, or even Starlink for some application. An offline mode for letter prediction is in development and will be released probably next month. Among the features that we have, so of course we can pair with by Bluetooth with the micro NIR device. We can have different scan settings, options, and acquisition modes, like a screening mode, which is really enabling you to make one-click analysis directly from your device. And we have modes for sample scans, for batch analysis, or to collect pictures of samples and to link any kind of data to your samples. We have, of course, a scan history with data management And on top of that, our solution is fully customizable to your needs, or for if you need some new samples attributes, such as the weight, that we can activate these attributes specifically for you. I will show you later. So once the data are collected from our mobile environment, then we have a web platform where we can manage the data. So it's a desktop app, fully integrated in the browser. And there you have you have the possibility to access to your data, to track and manage and compare scans across devices at one place. You can have data management features like change the name or flag some sample, edit, delete, whatever. You can export data in either Excel sheet form or export PDF reports for your files. And there is an organizations and user management tools that keeps trace of every activity that has been performed in the platform for full traceability. So we collect the data, yes, we manage the data, yes, but then how do we create models with all this data that we have now in the cloud? So we have developed our own customized NIRLAB Pro solutions that allows in one window to visualize interactively the data, to pre-process the plots, or to test any kind of predictions live from the browser. On top of that, then we can develop the models once the selection of trained data and test set has been performed. We can develop classifiers, regressors, and spectral matching algorithms, and then we can combine all these models together into building a complete AI machine learning model that is optimizing all the steps of NIR model development with an automatic pre-processing optimizations, feature selection by artificial intelligence, and finally the model is trained on a supercomputer that requires sometimes up to 24 hours with 96 processors, depending on the size of the data set. So if we're talking cloud, we're talking as well data security. So all our data is stored here in Switzerland in a secure data center on the university campus. Every communication are encrypted between the mobile apps and the servers. There is a full control by the user of the information shared in the cloud. Geolocation of measurements can be turned on and off, for instance, and specifically concerning the narcotics applications and the police usage, there is no sensitive data traveling through our cloud because the sample names from the police are coded and there is no suspect information shared through our cloud system. So it's basically a spectrum and a user and organization that is shared. So once we had developed a complete solution for narcotics analysis, we tried to have our forensic lab here in the University of Lausanne tried to submit for an accreditation for the standard ISO 17025 for the analysis of cocaine and heroin with a handheld device. I think it's the first ever accredited lab using such a method in the world, with a portable NIR. We have reached an accuracy of 15% relative to the reference values of the wet chemistry techniques like HPLC or GCMS that we use to train our models. And if you are interested in more information regarding these applications or the development of ISO 17025 methods with portable devices, I refer you to our paper that we published in 2020 with my professor Pierre Seiva. And now enough of theory, and I will move a little bit to the applications areas that we have developed with our solutions. So first and the biggest is the law enforcement and harm reduction narcotics analysis services. Then we have a specific application for cannabis. Then we have also an application to recycle, to analyze polymers for recycling companies, for instance. And on top of that, we have developed on-demand services for specific applications that we can develop and customize through our NIRLAB Pro solution. But first of all, I will talk about law enforcement and harm reductions. So our models here contains more than 150 substances that can be identified. The library of reference data is composed of 40,000 spectra scanned all over the world with many different labs and devices. We have all major drugs of abuse and cutting agents that can be identified, as well as many catenons and other NPS that are now emerging in the new markets of synthetic drugs. We can not only identify, but we can quantify right now 22 substances in mixtures. So either cocaine or heroin in base and salt form, which are validated methods through the ISO 17025. But on top of that, we can quantify phenethylamines like MDMA, amphetamine, or crystal meth, ketamine, then THC, CBD, and other cannabinoids in the cannabis. The analysis is possible on various substance forms like pill, powders, flowers, bricks, or liquids. We have specific models for specific substance forms that are automatically triggered. And we can as well measure most of the substances in direct contact or through packaging, like other spectroscopical devices can do. So imagine that there is a lot of complexity to be able to identify a narcotic substance in one click. So the models of narcotics looks a little bit like this. Every block that you see here in this chart is a machine learning generated classification or regression model. And every time a police officer is scanning a spectrum of a suspected substance, the substance is going through all this tree here in order to reach the perfect or the most accurate quantitative and qualitative prediction. So because because it's such a big model, it requires a lot of maintenance and development, especially that we have evolutive data sets, because narcotics collection of data is happening all the time, and the narcotics are evolving as well. Not so fast, let's say that the market is quite stable, but every year there is a few more products or a new trend. So it requires models versioning for full traceability, and then backtesting of new models, and then reprediction with the new models to make sure that the old data were still predicted correctly. And then, of course, once you have created a new model, you have to deploy it. So we have a test environment, which is in the mobile app available and in the web platform, where you cannot, the test, the new models you develop, they are not interfering with the models in production. So the development team can test the new models before validating them for production deployment. So for instance, here at the bottom, you see a model of cocaine to identify cocaine in the hydrochloride form, which is linked to then a quantifier or regressor that will then be able to determine how much cocaine is in the mixture. On top of law enforcement agencies, we have now a lot of interest for harm reduction services. Why that? Because our solution is very easy to deploy. In a backpack, you can have a full laboratory for narcotics analysis that you can deploy in injection rooms, festivals, and substance testing services like we do in Switzerland. It's very interesting because there is no need to be in contact with the samples. We can do the measurements with the Stericop that you see here on the bottom, and the NIR device is not going to touch the sample at all, and you can get an instant quantitative result based on these measurements. as well as the detection of up to 3 substances in mixtures. For instance, here it's a mixture of heroin with paracetamol and caffeine. What is also really interesting with the live data that we can collect out in the field is that we are now able to do live prevention in festivals with early warning systems. When we detect a pill of ecstasy, for instance, that has a very high potency, we can immediately inform the people in the festival about the risk that they might encounter taking this product. So that's it for all the narcotics applications. And one of our sub-applications here that we have developed some more specific models for the cannabis analysis, where we can do, without any sample preparation, an analysis directly on the flower. We can do instant qualifications. That was the first services we were developing, like is it a high CBD content or high THC content? And as well, we can do instant quantification of the major cannabinoids like THC, CBD, CBN, CBG, and we can as well estimate the moisture content of the product. I have also found out recently that with all the new trends in the cannabis market in Europe, that now some cannabis flowers are sprayed with other active cannabinoids in order to boost the effect. We can also detect washed or infused flowers that have generally a specific signal of the infused substances, or if they were washed, basically they were reduced to almost no content of cannabinoids. So this is also detectable with our solution. If you are interested in more information about this topic, I also invite you to check out our research paper that we just published a few months ago, and that is available online, open source, on the quantitative analysis of cannabis flowers and resins. Now, a small word on the polymers applications that we have developed with a library of close to 10,000 spectra that is enabling the identification of more than 100 polymers, and along with a rapid classification of the major types, and specifically distinction of PA6 or PA66, which is a high requirement for the field, and that was a really difficult topic because the spectral information is very close for these two samples. We have as well the ability to distinguish subgroups of samples. For instance, polyethylene can be subgrouped into HDPE, LDPE, or MDPE, for which each category leaves a specific spectrum with the microenrier device. Then the last topic here is what we call on-demand development, because there is many more applications available for such software or for such a setup with the microneer as a portable devices and the NIRLAB software in the back to develop the models and to deploy them. So we have the possibility to deliver tailor-made services using our AI-powered model development tools for classification and regressions. We can do raw material identification for pharma companies, for instance, or any kind of other industry. We can deliver cloud deployment services. We can do as well white labeling. So if you want your customized mobile app or your web platform with the team of your company, that's also possible. And extra services that we offer as well are among visualization tools, dashboard, alert and monitoring services, all kinds of services from the platform. And here are a few examples of applications that we have been requested on demand. For instance, we have developed a specific model to verify the authenticity of Viagra pills. And here we can see very well with the PCA here that it's pretty easy to distinguish authentic versus counterfeit Viagra pills. We have worked as well on a very long process of optimizing fat content in fish. you can see that over the months with the data collection and the model versioning, we are increasing by a lot the quality of the predictions. This is really nice work. This is a very nice, successful work with the customers where we have a long-lasting development process with the data they collect, and then we build the models on top. And then here's my last slide before I move to a live demonstration. So the question here today is why choosing NIRLAB? Well, there is many points that are making NIRLAB a strong solution today, especially if you need to have some quantitative information about your product. In terms of pricings, we start some packagings at a much lower pricing than the comparable other spectroscopic solutions. We have very little issues with fluorescence, especially in the field of narcotics. We can quantify almost everything. Then our solution is extremely simple to use. There is just one click in the portable device, and you can just launch your app, launch the device, and you can make a measurement. No need to push anything else. I will show you after. It's absolutely safe to use. There is no risk. There is no laser or no other danger for the user. Because we are in the cloud, you never need to worry about updating your library or having the latest substance list. The analysis time is really fast. We have a possibility to make analysis down to 2 seconds, depending on some applications where rapidity is needed. We can develop a lot of dashboards and tools around the data that is collected by your users. And we can customize the solutions in all possible ways you can imagine or that you need. Perfect. So right now I have a little bit more time, and I will make a rapid live demonstration of the solution for narcotics analysis. So here, I hope you see my screen. I have switched to the computer screen. I am basically trying to pair now the devices to my mobile applications. In this case here, because I am on a Mac computer, I can launch it directly on the computer, and I can directly from the home screen of the app, once the device is paired, I can make measurements by simply pointing the samples I want to measure on the device, pressing the button, and waiting for the results on the computer. Oh, maybe I am not using the right server. Sorry, I was making some tests before locally. So let's connect to the proper server and make the measurement again. Yes, in this case here we have scanned lidocaine, and it has a semi-quantitative estimation here that is saying either 1+ to 3+, depending on the strength of the signal. I can scan another substance here to see that in this case here is caffeine, so it's also a pure substance. If I have like a cannabis flowers here, I can simply put it on the device and make the analysis directly like that. So in this case here is telling me that it's cannabis CBD with around 12% CBD and 0.4 THC. It's telling me as well that I should perform a lab analysis for confirmation, because the confidence level in this case is pretty low. So confidence level is a safety signal that we have put in place for especially for narcotics to deal with potential false positive and false negative. So we verify with each spectrum that is acquired by our user that we have enough knowledge in our library with similar spectral data to make sure that the prediction is accurate. And in this case here, because I'm using a very, very old flowers of cannabis that is really dry, So it's telling me, the software is telling me that I should maybe verify this in the lab. So once the measurements are taken from the mobile app, I can directly switch into the web platform, where here I will connect to the live platform, where we can see probably the measurement that we have performed a few seconds ago. If I reload, here we have measured lidocaine, caffeine, or cannabis, and basically here I can observe all my data, and I can work with all the editing tools that I want. I can add some samples, some information, some sample information. I can observe my measurements. I can link my data to lab results. I can say here that it was a cannabis flower. And then I will be able to associate all contents of the different cannabinoids in this flower in order to use it for the next live model training, for instance. So this is the user side, and if you are in the scientific side, then I can access here to what we call the NIRLAB Pro solution. This is where we are listing all the models that we develop and make evolve over time with, for instance, here it's a quantitative model on the regressions on amphetamine that we are developing. I think it's the second version, and you can see that is the version in production. And it seems to be working very well to quantify amphetamine mixtures. So we have PCA, we have spectral visualization. I can change the visualization of spectra to the pre-processed data. This is the real data that is being sent to the server. I can color by reference value. In this case would be the quantitative content of the amphetamine. I can maybe filter by purity. If here I have a lot of data below 20%, I can check here what the data looks like down from between 0 and 20%, and we can see that we have very few samples here outside the tolerance range that we accept for this method, which is plus minus 15% relative. Okay, I think I have a lot more things to present to you, but the time must come to an end. And in any case, if you are interested in discussing more in details, we are very happy to discuss that with you over a specific private call in the future. Thank you very much for your time and your attention. And I'm open to any questions now if you have any.
Well, yes, thank you, Florentin. Really well done. Very nice presentation. Well,
am I gone?
No, you're not gone. Emiliano is frozen, I think.
Okay. So I see a few questions in
Yes.
in the chat here, so I will start by answering these. So Stefan Breinlinger is asking if you can use NIRLAB Pro for development of own models using different hardware. So at the moment, we are only compatible with the microNIR, but in the future, maybe we might implement other devices. If we can show, it's a question by Richard Vincent, can you show us what a report printout would look like for the narcotics analysis? So I can come back here and I can take one of the latest samples that we have scanned here, and I can export by PDF. and it will basically show up as a report on 2 pages like that, with the scans and the results, and the first page summarizing all the information that were on the web page before, with a little warning that these results are not certified, so they cannot be used in court like that. So next question
is what is the detention limit of the NIR? Very good question. Okay, and if let's say there are some risk of false positive.
So the detection limit is pretty low in mixtures that are controlled. So for instance, in cocaine, we have identified up to 250 different mixtures. So to get to a very low detection limit, we had to scan 6,000 samples with different mixtures, and we reached down to, let's say, 5%. But in heroin, which has a much more consistent mixture range, which is always like coffee and paracetamol, we can detect it down to 1%, basically. So the risk of false positive due to overfitting, no, we have not observed this so far, because we always keep external data set for validation, and then we are backtesting all our new models with all data, new data, as we have continuous input of new data from various labs. We are certainly going to miss some narcotics in specific mixtures or in very strange, unusual mixtures, but usually we are able to still give a warning that this substance is probably containing cocaine, but that you should maybe conduct further lab analysis to get a proper reply.
Well, I was thinking maybe if you can briefly explain what happened a few months ago with the, I think what the calcium carbonate. Am I wrong? That,
yes, we have identified new mixtures of cocaine that was appearing in the market with calcium carbonate, and with our model versioning system and the fact that the lab here in the back is supporting us in developing, acquiring new data, we could rapidly train new models with a lot of various mixtures of calcium carbonate, and then increase the accuracy of the prediction of the quantitative analysis on these samples, because it was sodium bicarbonate. Sodium bicarbonate has a very, very transparent signal to NIR, so it was a really quite tricky exercise to get accurate prediction with this, but we succeeded nicely. So there's Anka Frinkulescu that is asking if we have validated the quantitative method. So yes, we have followed the guidelines ISO 17025 as it was in the conference and the presentation before.
How does it work, the subscription model? Another question. How does it work?
So we have subscriptions model based on a yearly subscription. For the various applications, we have different prices, and for the customization, if you need to develop your own solution, then we need to discuss specifically with our team.
Yeah.
So the Lab Pro solution is not yet fully available. We are, I mean, we can work with you together with the developing the models. We can guide you. We are now developing this newer version that is a lot more user-friendly. And after a few months from now, I think it will be available for everybody. But if you have specific application, we can already guide you through and work with you. Another question
is, NIRLAB is able to test CBD oil products?
Yes, we are able to do that. We have just not developed a full models for this application at the moment, but it is very doable.
Another question, what is the accuracy compared to the HPLC on, I guess, THC, CBD, and low level of cannabinoids? that's a little bit tricky.
Very nice questions, because HPLC is doing good on cannabis, on cannabinoids regularly. It's very interesting to see that it's very hard for HPLC as well to have reproducible measurements below 1% in low-level cannabinoids. So if Carl is asking about whether are we able to use a NIRLAB prediction of THC at 0.2% for certification for exports, for instance, at the moment is not our plan. So it is more designed to make the analysis of the major cannabinoids and not the low-level ones with accuracy. It's a very difficult topic. If you take 10 HPLC labs and you send your same samples, you have between 0.2 and 0.6% results easily. If you are targeting 0.3, for instance, it's really hard. Of course, we cannot beat HPLC, but for cocaine and heroin, for instance, the general accuracy for wet chemistry is around 10% relative, and we have an accuracy of around 15% relative, which is really not far compared to the easiness of the process.
I know that is another tricky question. Is the app working offline?
App is unfortunately not working offline at the moment. You will be able to acquire spectra offline if for some time you don't have network coverage, and then they will be predicted once you are back online. But you can use Starlink services if you're really lost somewhere. It works very well.
Okay, thank you. And any of the cannabinoid result approved by pharma yet? Well, I think that here we go in a different kind of field, let's say, but I mean, there are some specific guidelines for using an IR in pharma that you can apply, but the thing is that in pharma there is not an approval of the ISO, but it has to be done company by company. Yes, already said that we can analyze liquid. I'll try to help you, Florentin, as I would say that, I mean, after this meeting, you will get a survey. If you fill the survey, you will get the recording of the presentation and the PowerPoint that you used for today.
We have a nice comment from Annette.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot with the police forces in Germany and Austria. And she says that the feedback she got from the users is that there have not been false positives with the narcotics applications, which is highly appreciated. Of course, this is the main things we're trying to avoid. We prefer to say an unknown substance and conduct further lab analysis than triggering a false positive, which can basically put someone in jail for some time. So
okay.
Ed is asking about the confidence levels. So the confidence level, I explained, Ed, that is an indicator of how many similar or how much knowledge we have of a specific spectrum in our reference database. So if you have a very high confidence level, it means I have seen often the same spectrum and I have the GCMS or the HPLC reference value that is matching my prediction. So I am confident that I know what it is and that I predict it well. If you send me a different spectrum that I don't know, that I have not often seen, my confidence level will be lower, because the machine learning algorithm will always give you a prediction result, but you need to assess how good is this prediction results. And sometimes it's not possible without making this kind of extra calculations around like this confidence level that we have implemented.
Okay, well, I think that we are running out of the time. Actually, a lot of good questions mean that the topic was very, very interesting. As usual, you will get from Karine a survey. If you answer to the survey, you get the recording to the presentation. And well, also we will try to reply to all the questions in a written format as soon as possible, and we will hand over to you. Florentin, thank you very much. And
thank you, everybody. It was a real pleasure. And feel free to contact us, whatever service you need. We're here for you.
Thank you, Florentin. Well done. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.